everybody? How is everybody this morning, or this evening, whatever time of day it is? Yeah. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to another Wired for Crappie Live. Appreciate everybody for joining us this evening. I see some lates. I wasn't late. I was tardy. Not necessarily late. Hey, sometimes you got to wrangle the kids, man. Hope everybody's doing well. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope you guys are getting together with family. I know some are, some aren't. If you're not, okay. If you are, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Either way, enjoy your Thanksgiving. We're going to be cooking here at the Wired House. You can do the whole spiel, smorgasbord full of food. I'm going to be 15 pounds heavier come next week because I'm going to eat until I can't eat anymore. Let's see. If you guys don't care, say hello when you get on. Let me know where you're from. I always like to say hello back to you guys. It gives me an opportunity to say hello to you and see where everybody's from, where you're tuning in from, okay? So let's see. We got Harold Stamey from Rockwood. Hello. Ashley Coffee. Jimmy Pratt. Asleep. What's up, everybody? Matthew Kofelt. Hello. Terry Gear. Phil Pickett. Karen H. from Chicago. How's it going? Uncle Bill, what's going on? Slab Buster, what's up, man? Rusty Prophet, hello. Scott Pace, what's going on? Chad, hello. Ronnie Harris from Carrollton, Georgia, hello. Sean Mitchell, hello. Tim Payne, Heath McDaniel, Richard Cummings, what's up? Southern Illinois, what's going on, man? Illinois in the house. Got Raymond Smith, Wichita Falls, Texas. Hey, Raymond, how's it going, buddy? Daryl Crider, I hope I said that right. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours as well. Whitwell, Tennessee. Marty Zutt, what's going on? Got a new Fort Loudon resident. You'll love Fort Loudon. Fort Loudon's a great lake. A lot of fish in Fort Loudon. So let's talk a little bit, guys, about this past weekend. Trent Huber, what's up? Tyler Key from Clark Range, Tennessee. What's going on, Tyler? So let's talk a little bit, like I said, about this past weekend. So East Tennessee Crappie Club had a tournament on Melton Hill Saturday. Went and fished that. I'll tell you what, Melton Hill is a gem, guys. There are big fish in Melton Hill. They did not show up for this event. The weights were off compared to last year. Last year it was 10.5 pounds. This year it didn't even take 8 to win it this year. So it was a tough tournament. It was a tough day. One thing you need on Melton Hill to catch big fish or fish in general, one thing you need on Melton Hill is current. I have never fished that lake without current because they always, sometime during your 8-hour day or 4-hour day or 6-hour day or however long you're on the water, at some point they generally turn the current on or run water through the dam. Okay. At some point during the day, they always do. I mean, that lake is religiously running water through it. And for some reason, I don't know if the scheduler was on vacation or if the pump house man was on vacation that day or what, but they ran absolutely zero through the dam. until Saturday evening, and it was late Saturday evening when they actually turned the water on. So, generally speaking, on that lake, when the water turns on, the fish feed. And I've seen that time and time and time and time again. And it generally puts those fish in a feeding pattern, and they set up on some type of feeding or ambush point. Let's just say that. They set up on some type of ambush point when they turn the water on. So we pre-fished the lake, had a lot of good ambush points that we felt would produce fish, that had produced fish for us previously. And then Friday night, I looked, and there was absolutely zero movement of that lake scheduled for Saturday. And it was like, oh, crap. We're going to be in trouble. So we went out. We knew it was going to be a tough day for us. We did catch 7. We did weigh 7 fish. We finished, I think, 6th out of 14 boats, I believe it was. So right about middle of the pack. And but we knew it was going to happen. I mean, we knew it was going to be that kind of day for us. We knew it was going to be tough, and it was. So humbling lake for sure. But that's what you face when you tournament fish. You don't know the conditions that you're dealt. You just have to fish the conditions you are dealt. And like I said, that lake has never not moved in a day, and it definitely didn't. So we were expecting to see some movement for a couple hours. We were going to take the couple hours that we had of movement. We were going to run ambush points, and we were going to, hopefully catch the same fish that we'd been catching. And if that would have happened, I felt like we had a very good chance to win the tournament, but it didn't. So we looked at a lot of new areas, fished a lot of new water, and fished some old water that was unproductive, but we managed to catch fish. So that was good. Anyway, that was Saturday. Let's see. Let me go back up here and hit some of these comments. Tyler Key, what's up? Dwayne Newport, Sunbright, what's going on? Heidi Clark, what's going on, Heidi from Idaho? Tim Payne. Daryl Quarles, what's going on, Daryl? From Birchwood. Stephen Hodges said, do you ever fish up here in Missouri for crappie? No, I have not yet. I anticipate that I will be getting to a lot of different lakes over the next year or two. Missouri is probably one that's on my list. There's several lakes that you guys have that I'll probably frequent. Well, not frequent, but fish. I will probably end up hitting some of y'all's lakes along the way, but I do not, as of right now, know, Stephen. Lamar Ingram, hello, and happy Thanksgiving from Tennessee. So he says happy Thanksgiving from Alabama. Happy Thanksgiving back to you from Tennessee, buddy. Are you guys ready for Thanksgiving? Who's ready for Thanksgiving this year? I feel like this year, with everything that's gone on this year and everything that's went down, it's just kind of like, oof. Okay, let's do Thanksgiving. Yeah, Christmas is next. Woo! My kids are excited about Christmas, but hey, it's just, I don't know. Maybe that's what happens when you get older. You just kind of lose the magic of the holidays, I guess. My wife it hasn't, though. My wife is a Christmas nut. She loves everything there is to do with Christmas. She loves the presents and the lights and the photos and would-be trips, but not right now. So Jamie Nelson joining a little late. Enjoyed the live Sunday. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute, Jamie. So we talked about Saturday. Most of our fish Saturday, just to go back and kind of reiterate Saturday, Most of our fish Saturday came on we caught several on a minnow. And then what we didn't catch on a minnow, we caught on I'm going to think of it, moon glow stump bug. Okay. I'm going to think of it in a minute. The moon glow stump bug. And then I want to say it was some type of crappie magnet. Darren was using some kind of crappie magnet. I don't remember what color it was now. But the majority of our fish came off a minnow because we knew it was going to be tough, and we dipped minnows. So, and thank the Lord we did, because if we wouldn't have, we probably wouldn't have had 7 to weigh. It was tough. I'm telling you, it was tough. There was the team that actually won the tournament Saturday. They had 7 bites all day, and the 7 bites they had 7 keepers. From the 7 bites, the 7 fish they caught were all keepers, and they weighed their 7 fish and won the tournament. So they got very, very, very lucky, they said. And but nonetheless, they had a good day and caught the 7 biggest, right? So it was a tough day for most, but it's hard to talk about a tough day. It's always easy to talk about the good days, but it's hard to talk about a tough day where you just don't catch a whole lot. It's good to have those every once in a while because they're humbling and they make you realize that sometimes the conditions aren't right for catching fish. And, that was one time that it just wasn't right. And anyway, we managed to limit weighed fish. Hey, that's my goal every tournament, is to catch 7. Catch 7 keepers, you got a chance. So. Josh Sanders, what's going on? Marshall Barton, happy Thanksgiving. David Wall from Lake Conroe, he says, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Hold up. I see Karen H. This Thanksgiving, we thank you for all you do with your great info and helping us on the water. We appreciate you. Love our videos and live show. Thankful for you. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that very much. That means so much to me. I needed that tonight. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the kind words. It's a blessing to me, the super chat, for sure. And I appreciate it without a doubt. So guys, if you don't know what a super chat is a way for you guys to give back to the channel. It's a way for you guys to help support Wired for Crappie, to keep me on the water, help me continue to make good content for you guys that you guys want to watch, so that I can continue doing what we're doing here. I can continue the lives. I can continue the videos. So that's a way for you guys to give back. If you don't know how to give one, right down below the comment section on your YouTube channel, here is a little money symbol. You click on that and it walks you through the steps on how to do a super chat. So Karen, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's a blessing to me, and I appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving. And Karen caused me to lose my spot, so we're going to have to go back up here and find it. But that's okay, though. Hey, got it back. Heidi says, I'm putting up Christmas lights. You're late, Heidi. Heidi, we put Christmas trees up in the house. Actually, I think trick-or-treaters were knocking on the door, and they were opening the door, and there's Christmas trees in the house, and they're like, you're a little early. And I'm like, yeah, we are. That's okay. I'm telling you, my wife loves Christmas. So, Blake Hawk, what's up? Turkey Day on the water. Turkey Day on the way. I thought it said water. Sorry. Turkey Day on the way. I need my glasses on. Turkey Day on the way. That is correct. Turkey Day is tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. I hope everybody, again, has a blessed and happy Thanksgiving with family. And I hope you get your belly full. Trent says, since you fish tournaments, you can probably give better insight to this question. How has LiveScope changed the game? You see other styles of fishing going by the wayside, aka spider rigging and trolling. I'm going to get rid of this comment, Trent, but yes. Well, let's do this. Ooh. All right. Yes, I will agree. I've had this conversation with my fishing partner and with several others in the club and several other people that aren't in the club. LiveScope has changed crappie fishing. Okay. There's no doubt about that. It has not changed some forms of crappie fishing. There's still a lot of guys. I mean, look, when I was on Hartwell last week or whenever it was, when I was on Hartwell, okay, there was a couple older guys that were fishing. They were trolling. I caught, I don't know, 25 or 30 fish in front of them. And they finally came over to the boat and stopped. And they said, look, we need to know what you're doing. We need to know what bait you're using or something, because we've caught 2, you've caught 30. What's going on? They said, you rather got to tell us what you're doing. You got to leave because we feel bad. And I said, look, you don't have to feel bad. I said, it's just, I'm fishing docks and I'm fishing structure. There's not a whole lot of fish out there in the open water that are suspended. And I have LiveScope. Do you know what LiveScope is? And they said, no. And I said, okay. I said, well, let me show you. And I got one of them over there and I showed him the LiveScope and he was just floored. And he's like, you can do that? You can watch fish move around? He said, well, no wonder. He said, I don't feel bad now. And he said, I appreciate it. And I said, yeah. I said, you're welcome. So to answer your question, LiveScope has changed the game for tournament fishing. Okay. I'm not going to say you can't compete without LiveScope because I've watched people and seen people compete without LiveScope. Okay. And there's certain lakes where LiveScope isn't going to help you. And I'll go into that when we talk about Sunday. Okay, Trent. So when we talk about Sunday and what all transpired on Sunday at the tournament that I fished Sunday live for you guys, that's one instance where LiveScope ain't going to do you a bit of good. Okay. So it has changed the game, but it's not the end all be all for crappie fishing. Okay. Trolling is still going to be around. Is it going to be as prevalent? No. Most people are going to be using LiveScope and targeting individual fish. But when I take my son out fun fishing, or, as my youngest son gets older, he's going to experience all those different things. We're going to pull planer boards. We're going to long line troll. We're not going to spider rig because I can't stand going that slow. But we're going to do all those other techniques so that he can experience those. And there's still a place for him. I mean, when you take a kid fishing, especially a 5-year-old, it's kind of difficult to hand him a rod and say, there's a screen, go catch that fish. It's like, it doesn't really work that way. So there's still a place and a time for all those other things. But LiveScope allows you to be more efficient on the water. I've said that for a year now. It just allows you to be more efficient. You can see the fish. You can see where your bait is. You can put your bait where the fish are. You're just more efficient. You can catch more fish and it's less time to do it. So it's going to continue to change the tournament scene. It's going to continue to change crappie fishing as a whole. But it's going to actually help grow crappie fishing too, because now people can go out and catch fish where they maybe struggled before. Okay. So it's going to help people grow in their ability to catch fish as well. Is it a bad thing? That's yet to be seen. I don't know. I have my questions about LiveScope. What used to take 2 hours to go catch a 15 fish limit now takes 15 minutes to go catch a 15 fish limit. And it's like, is that going to hurt the population? I don't know. But I don't think the other styles of fishing will ever completely go away, but they're going to shrink. They're going to diminish. So that's my opinion. Josh Sanders said, "Yeah, Melton Hill fish tough." So Josh and Ashley Coffee fished the tournament. They're generally on here. Josh is. I hadn't seen Ashley yet, or have I? I think I said hello to him earlier. Yeah, I did. He's on here. It did fish tough. It did fish tough. I think everybody struggled a little bit. But that's the name of the game. That's part of it. Part of doing what we do. Terry Gear, nice cap, Matt. Yeah, thank you. That's one of the caps from Crappie Cove there in Maryville. You guys know they're a partner with the channel. They actually offer a discount code for you guys so that you guys can get some good stuff, some good gear for a little bit of a discount. That discount code is wired. So Crappie Cove, they have a website. You can go to Google Crappie Cove, Maryville, Tennessee. It's inside Gunny's in Maryville, Tennessee. But Crappie Cove has a website. You can order off their website. And if you want to use the code, I think you have to call. So if you want to use wired, just go to the website, write down the items you want, give them a ring, tell them what you want, give them the code. They'll hook you up with 10% off, and they'll ship it out to you. Okay, guys? But it is a nice cap. I like it a lot. Hang on just a second. I see Kenneth Pippins. Thank you, Kenneth, for the super chat. I appreciate it, buddy. It goes, you guys know, it goes right back into crappie fishing, goes right back into keeping me out on the water, making great content for you guys to watch. So thank you, Kenneth. I appreciate it. Happy Thanksgiving, buddy. And I hope you have a great crappie weekend. I hope you get to go fishing. I hope you got some time off work and you get to go to the lake, and I hope you catch a big one. Oh, Albert Spears. All right, I guess we'll talk about this one. Happy Thanksgiving, Matt. Didn't see you in Texas for the ACC tournament. No, I was not in the I was not at the ACC tournament. You are correct. I had a prior engagement that I actually committed to before the ACC tournament was released, and I could not get out of that engagement, nor would I want to get out of that prior engagement, because it was a engagement that basically I had to be there for, or no one could go. So wouldn't want to do that to anybody. Wouldn't want anybody to suffer to go down to fish a tournament. So I was not at the ACC tournament, unfortunately. But there is going to be another ACC tournament, and it is going to be in Tennessee on my home lake. So it is going to be on Watts Bar in Tennessee. That will be the first weekend of April. So look out, because it's coming to my town, and we're going to give her our all. We're going to put our best foot forward on that one and see what happens. So come April, I think it's the 3rd. Come April the 3rd. Let me look just to be sure. Yep. So come April the 3rd, we're going to put our best foot forward on that one. See what happens, Albert. Let's see here. So Kenneth has a question. Let's see. Hello, Matt. Do you use perspective view on your LiveScope? I believe you have to download software for the update, or are you satisfied with forward and down view only? So Kenneth, I personally have been fishing with LiveScope now for, well, since about 6 months after it came out. Really, I mean, I didn't jump on the bandwagon at first. I wanted to see it in somebody's boat. I let somebody else take the plunge for me, and they took the plunge, and I looked at it on their boat, and it was like, okay, I guess I got to get one. So I jumped into the bandwagon, and at that point, went and got one. So since about 6 months after it came out, and I have never used my down view ever. I have not even flipped it over to experiment with it. The thing is with forward view, you can still see right underneath you. So you really have a down view in forward view. And actually in forward view, you can actually see behind the pole as well, depending on how deep it is. It depends on how far you can see below it, or behind it. Hang on, Kenneth. We'll be right back. I just saw Marty's up. Hope I said that last name right. Trizenus. Yeah. So I hope I said your last name right. Thank you for the super chat, Marty. I appreciate you, buddy. I hope I didn't butcher your name too bad, but I appreciate the super chat. It'll go right back into crappie fishing, buddy. Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, and I appreciate you very much for that. Let's see. Golly, my computer's getting funky on me. All right, so never used down view at all, and I have always used forward view. You can see underneath you and behind the pole as well with forward view. Depending on what depth you're in is how far you can see behind you, but you can still do so. And it doesn't seem to ever let me down. I have experimented with perspective view. I do not like it. And I'll tell you why I do not like it. Because if you've ever seen Humminbird 360, that's basically perspective view. Okay. Perspective view was brought out by Garmin, in my opinion, for one reason: to capture more of the bass scene, because they're bass fishing in shallow water, and forward view is not great in less than 5 feet of water. So those professional bass anglers that are in less than 5 to 6 feet of water, if they're less than that, they needed something that they could still see with. Okay. And you can do that with perspective view. You can see in that shallower water, but it just doesn't. I mean, if you pitch a 16th ounce jig out in front of perspective view, you can't see it. You can see fish. Like if there's a big group of fish in 4 foot of water, you can see them, but you can still see them with forward view. They're just smaller. I just didn't like perspective view because it didn't allow me the ability that I have with forward view. Does that make sense? For that reason, I don't use my perspective view. But hey, if anybody wants a perspective view mount, I've got one. I bought one, never used it. It's brand new in the box. So if anybody wants one, I'll sell it and I'll give you a deal on it. So if anybody wants it, you can email me at info@wiredforcrappie.com and we'll get hooked up on it. But I mean, it's like I said, it's brand new in the box. It had never been put on, hadn't even been screwed on. So I went out with a guy that had it already and looked at it and was like, no. But I might like it, Kenneth. I mean, if you're fishing real shallow stuff, or if you're a brim fisherman, golly, if you're a brim fisherman looking for beds, man, perspective view would be the cat's meow. I mean, if you're a brim fisherman that's up on the bank and you're looking in lily pads, or you're looking on lake banks trying to find bluegill beds, but you don't want to get right up on them, I mean, perspective view would be it. So it works as described. It just doesn't allow you the same view as forward view does. Jody says, I can't really afford LiveScope, so I have to rely on side imaging and marker buoys to mark brush. Jody, that's how I fished for years. I mean, that's how I fished. I can't even tell you half of. I mean, probably, well, probably for 10 years I fished that way. Finding stuff on side imaging, down imaging, even standard sonar before I had side imaging and down imaging. You find a brush pile, throw a marker buoy out, fan cast it until you figure out exactly where the fish are, and then just keep making the same cast right there. And counting your jig down. A 16th ounce jig generally falls a foot a second. So if you see on your down imaging, you see fish at 10 feet, cast out, count to 9 so that you're right above them, and just start slowly reeling the jig back. That's how I fished for years and years and years. And it is an effective way, a very good way to catch fish. It's a very good way to fish brush and offshore structure. Docks are the same way. I mean, look, we're going to get into it here in a minute about Sunday and docks and LiveScope and all that good stuff, and we're gonna shake some things out here in just a minute. So, you guys will probably enjoy listening to that, I think. Justin, I think new regulations are going to have to be made. What are you talking about, Justin? Are you talking about for LiveScope, or are you talking fish regulations? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Willis? Uncle Bill says, great statement on the crappie population with LiveScope. Yeah, and that may be what Justin's talking about. I've actually made mention to, so I talked to a lot of the TWRA guys, and I talked to Creel clerks recently. So I've made some suggestions myself. You guys don't shoot me any, but I just made suggestions that maybe they should keep up with how many anglers have LiveScope and what kind of fish they've been catching. I mean, if a creel clerk stops you and he's asking you how many fish you caught today, well, I've caught 54. Well, how many of them are keepers? Well, half of them. Well, how many you have in your boat? No, I got 15. I got my limit. Well, do you have LiveScope? Yep. Then you stop another boat and he says, well, I caught 12. Well, how many keepers? 4. How long you been out here? 6 hours. Do you have LiveScope? Nope. Well, there you go. I mean, enough of that. I was going to tell you that, the crappie population is getting hammered pretty much. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what comes of it. If they even have their eye on it, I don't know. But TWRA does stock our lakes. They do put fingerlings in our lakes every year. So they're putting crappie in the lakes. Not all of them, but the majority of East Tennessee lakes get stocked because they get hammered. But and they try to figure out what our TWRA and the wildlife biologists are always trying to figure out what the spawn looks like and how many fry make it through spawn and what kind of spawn we have and all that good stuff. So they're always trying to do that, and they actually stock black nose crappie in Tennessee. So in Tennessee, if you catch a black nose crappie, it's been stocked. Okay. They put that crappie in that lake, and they do that so that they can follow the fish through their age groups over the years. They can net and electrofish those fish, and they can tell where they're traveling and what the growth looks like of those fish and that sort of thing. So it's pretty cool what they do. And even when we don't think they're out there working trying to do good for us, they really are. They're really out there working trying to do good for the anglers. But it's a really neat deal in East Tennessee. So anyway, I'm sure they'll keep their eye on that ball. I don't know. So Phil says, Matt, what scale do you use to weigh your crappie? And tell us about putting the weight on the crappie that you caught deep on Sunday. I will, Phil. We'll get to that in just a second. Let me come back to that, Phil. Be right back to it. Okay. Oh, Blake, here's a question. Matt, what have you heard or what do you know about the new Live View bird is coming out with? Hummingbird. The Live View hummingbird is coming out with. They're saying they are doing what LiveScope does, but improving the weaknesses like what? Like what, Blake? I don't see another one. Okay, so what? Not right now, buddy. Sorry. Yes, I'll play with you when we get out. You're welcome. 5-year-old wants to play. Never stop being a dad, even when you're live. All right. I know a little bit about a little bit, Blake. So, look, I know Lowrance tried to come out with a live view after Garmin did, and it flopped. Okay. Lowrance's live they came out with was basically no more than down imaging that moved around. It was very grainy. It was very, there was no definition to it. Okay. Could you see blobs on the screen moving? Yeah, but it wasn't anywhere near the caliber of LiveScope, and it flopped. I hope that what Humminbird has developed is in some way, shape, form, or fashion more competitive than Lowrance was. If not, I'm afraid that Garmin has completely cornered the market. And by that, I mean, if they, I don't know the ins and outs of their patents. I don't know the ins and outs of that. I'm not even going to go into it. But if for some reason they have something that no one else can get, which it seems right now they do, then, prices aren't going to go down anytime soon on those units. And, everybody's going to end up getting one at some point if they want it. But, it'd be nice to see some competition against the LiveScope. And I think Humminbird can do it. I think it's taken this long maybe because of the Lowrance thing that came out and it kind of flopped. And they're like, oh, crap, we got to get it right. If we're going to release it, we got to get it right. Let's figure out how to get it right before we put it out there. Let's not just jump in with both feet and say, whoops, we missed the diving board, So I do know a little bit about it, but for the sake of not sticking my foot in my mouth, I'll not comment on that today. I don't want to tell you it's going to be just as good, or it's going to be competitive, or it's going to be better, and then it not be. You know what I mean? So always, it's better, right? And then it comes out, and it's like, wait a minute, no, it's not. So I don't want to be in that boat. I do know they're coming out with it. Lowrance is actually coming back out with another model too. So we'll see where that lands. But it's going to be cool to see. And it'll be like everything else. You'll just have to wait and figure out exactly what it is, wade your way into it. And if it's comparable or better, there's going to be a lot of Humminbird guys, diehard Humminbird guys that are going to be real happy about it, So I don't know. We'll see. All right. Daryl says he called Crappie Cove today and picked up a couple ACC crappie sticks. That's awesome, Daryl. Cool. Thank you. I know they appreciate that over there. Guys, they're a small business over there. And right now, small businesses are struggling in America. So anything we can do to help them out is a good deal. Okay. So thank you, Daryl. I appreciate you, buddy. And I know they appreciate it. So let's talk about Sunday a little bit. And we'll kind of bounce around a little bit here and there because I'm sure there's more comments about other things. But let's talk a little bit about Sunday because let's go back to Phil's comment. So Phil actually asked a question, and he says, hang on a second. Okay. What scale do you use to weigh your crappie, and tell us about putting the weight on the crappie that you caught deep on Sunday? So I use a Rapala tourney scale is what I use to weigh my fish. I used a 15-pound version because you're not going to catch a crappie over 15 pounds. If you catch a crappie over 15 pounds, call me because I want to be there. I want to put it on my YouTube channel. Okay. I will drive to California to video a 15-pound crappie, swear to God. So if you catch a 15-pound crappie, call me. But I use a Rapala tourney scale. Again, it comes with cull tags. You can buy it from Rapala. It comes with cull tags. Love the scale. It's accurate as all get out. I had 633 Sunday, or I'm sorry. I had 633, and my scale said, my Rapala handheld scale said 6.30 on the dot, and it was 3/100ths off with weighing 7 fish that are flopping around and the wind blowing and the boat moving and all that in the boat. So it's very, very accurate, very good scale. And it's reliable. Okay. And you can lock your weights in it. So I don't have it with me. It's in the boat, but you can check them out online. They're really great scales. A lot of people use them, so you can YouTube it. There's all kinds of people out there that use them. But it locks your weights in. You can weigh one fish, hit lock, hit number one. It locks it into number one spot. You can put a cull tag on him and drop him in the live well. And then if you catch one bigger, you can lock it, hit number one again. It'll switch those weights. So if it's 1 pound and then your next fish is 2 pounds, you just hit lock and hit number one again. It puts it to 2 pounds. Then you take the fish out of live well, swap the ball, and there you go. So anyway, very good scale. Very, very, very accurate and well worth the money. I used it for years, and I'll continue to use them. They're very good. So now the weight that I put on the crappie that I caught deep. So there's several ways. I think I have some of my clips here. Let me grab some clips. Hang on just a second. Where are my clips? No, they're in here. My clips are there. Okay. So these are stainless steel alligator clips. You guys have probably seen these, okay? These are stainless steel alligator clips. What I do is I take a pair of pliers and I crimp this end right here down as tight as I can. All right. So take a pair of pliers, crimp this down as tight as I can, and then I get a 1/2 to 3/4 ounce, or no, I'm sorry. It's a 1 to 1.5 ounce weight. Just an egg sinker. And I'll take a drill and I'll drill out the center of that egg sinker so that when this is crimped, it'll fit inside the egg sinker. I'll take hot glue, fill the inside of the egg sinker with hot glue, put some hot glue here and stick them together. What that allows me to do, and the reason that I use these, okay, is when you catch a fish deep, that air bladder swells when you bring him to the surface. And you've heard of fizzing fish, Phil? People fizz their fish. You don't have to fizz the fish. The air bladder, okay, swelling up in a fish or having too much of the fish having too much air when you bring him to the surface is not what kills the fish. What kills the fish is he's got all that air in his air bladder. You put him in a live well, and he can't sit up straight up and down in your live well because he's got too much air in his belly, so it turns him over. Because he's got more air in his belly than his body is buoyant. Does that make sense? So it turns that fish over. What this does with the weight on it, you've got your fish and you've got his pectoral fins down here on the bottom of the fish. You take this clip and you clip it on his pectoral fins, and it keeps him straight up and down in the water. All right. If that fish sits straight up and down in your live well, it will allow him to naturally belch the air in his air bladder, and he will equalize on his own. That makes sense? If you clip that fish, because what happens is there's this big debate about fizzing fish. Is it good to fizz a fish? A lot of people tell you you don't want to fizz fish. It's not good. If you pop that air bladder with a needle, that fish will die when you put him back in the lake because your needle's dirty. It's not sanitized. That fish will eventually die if you fizz him. Now, I don't know that that's true. I'm not a biologist. I can't tell you whether that's true or not. There's just a big debate about it. People say fizzed fish will eventually die. Okay, whatever. Clipped fish will not eventually die, for sure, 100%. I know this, okay? I've clipped, I can't tell you how many fish. So when I catch a big fish and I know he's been down below 20 feet of water, and I catch him and bring him to the surface and I toss him in the live well, her in the live well, and she lays over sideways immediately, you better believe she gets a clip. And there has been many, 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 many times when I've clipped a fish. I come back an hour later with another fish, a cull. I swap them out. She's sitting there perfectly straight up and down. She's sitting there smiling at me. I'll reach in there and I'll take that clip off of her and I'll put it in the floor of the boat, and she'll never turn sideways again because it allows those fish to naturally belch the air out of their air bladder to where they equalize themselves in the depth of your live well. Okay. That's the best thing that I have in my boat on tournament day is a clip with a weight on it. And hands down, bar none. That has saved me so many fish, it's not even funny. So that's why I clipped that fish that I caught on Sunday, because I did catch her deep. And as soon as she hit the live well, she rolled over sideways, and I knew right then and there she had to be clipped. All right. Fish that you catch shallow, generally when they hit the live well, they hit every wall in the live well because you toss them in the live well and they go because they don't have that air bladder issue, but those deep fish do. And our job is to take care of those fish, okay? Our job is to take care of them, get them to the weigh-in safe, get them back in the lake safe. I like to put my larger fish back. That's just who I am. I catch one over 12 inches. I don't want to eat it. I don't like mushy, thick fish. I like thin, crispy fish. I like a 10 to 11 inch fish to eat. Anything over 12, I throw it back in the lake. So that's me. That's who I am. That's what I like to do. And that's the reason for the clip. Okay. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. Joseph, what water temperatures do the crappie start migrating out of the creeks, catching them as shallow as 10 feet of water? Temp is 51 to 53, Clearwater Reservoir. Start migrating out of the creeks. Joseph, if they're catching them as shallow as 10 feet of water, I mean, they're going to stay in that area all winter. Unless it gets, well, I don't know where you're fishing at. I don't know what your temps are going to do in the winter. I mean, are we talking, I mean, your lakes freeze over in the winter? Because if they freeze over, they're coming out of that 10 foot of water. Because for East Tennessee, let's just talk about East Tennessee. That's all I can talk about. Our lakes don't generally freeze over. If they freeze over, it's very rare. And it's not for very long. They'll freeze over for a week or a day or 2 days or whatever, and they'll thaw out. But as long as the water doesn't get down below 40, if water gets down below 40, they're going to move back out. But typically, if you keep water in the 40s to 50s, those fish are going to stay where you're catching them at now, and could even potentially get shallower. But if the water gets below 40, they're pushing back out, would be my opinion. Okay. And then when the water starts to warm, they're doing the opposite of that. They're not coming out, they're going in. When the water starts to warm, they're going to start thinking about spawning. So that would be my thoughts on that one. Donna Orange, hello. There's a going long line in tomorrow. There's still going to be guys out there long lining, trolling. It's still a very productive way to catch fish if you're on fish. If you're not on fish or they're not suspended, LiveScope allows you to go find them. That's just how it is. Slab Buster says every time he starts watching a live, 50 people want to call him. That's funny because every time I try to get on a live, 50 people call me. CD3, hello, how are you? Welcome. Heath McDaniel. Good question, Heath. Are you doing anything with the Fishing Expo this coming year? So for the expo that Heath is talking about is the East Tennessee Fishing Show, happens in Knoxville. And yes, Heath, I will be there, my friend. I will be at the Crappie Cove booth. I'll be bouncing around a little bit. I'll be there somewhere in some fashion, but I'll mainly be at the Crappie Cove booth, okay? Crappie Cove /ACC/Bonehead. That's where I will be stationed. But I will also be at Sniper Marine. I will also be at Tri-County. I will also be at Crappie Magnet. I will also be at some of the other booths as well. So I could be bouncing around anywhere. But if you're looking for me, the best bet is at the Crappie Cove booth. That's where I'm going to be stationed, and that's where I'm going to be badged to be. Does that make sense? So, yes, I will be at the show, and we will have a surprise for you guys at the show. I cannot talk about it right now. Please don't ask me what the surprise is. I'm not allowed to talk about it yet, but I will be able to talk about it shortly, and it is going to be good. You guys are going to want to come. It is going to be advantageous for you guys to be there. So keep that in mind. It's the last weekend of January. And it's going to be good. It's going to be something good coming. And like I said, can't talk about it yet, but hopefully soon I will be able to talk about it. Hopefully by next month I'll be able to release it and start talking about it with you guys. So very good question, Heath. I appreciate it. Come out, guys. Come say hello. There'll be Wired for Crappie merch there if you guys want to pick up some merchandise, or you can get it on the website. Look, if you want some Wired for Crappie merch, I got some on this side, not this side, this side. Got some hoodies there behind me, got a hat behind me. We've got mugs, we've got cups, we've got cups, not mugs. We got cups, we've got shirts, hats, hoodies, cups, toboggans. You can check it out, wiredforcrappie.com. You can get your merch there. We ship it out to you. Goes out the day you order or the day after you order. So you guys can check that out. I appreciate it. And thank you, Heath, for the question. I will be at the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Trent, what do you think about Bird and Lowrance coming out with their LiveScope units, good or bad? I think it's good. We talked about that. I answered that question a minute ago from Blake. I think it's good. I think it's going to, if they can manage to compete with the quality, it's going to put competition into the market, and you're going to start seeing pricing coming down a little bit. So I think it's good. I think anytime you can have competition in the market, it's good. Right now, you hadn't seen price on LiveScope units come down at all because they've got it cornered at the moment. So I think it's going to be good, unless they both come out with a unit that is inferior to LiveScope, and then it's just going to push Garmin to keep their prices where they're at more, or come out with something new themselves, an add-on or something to it, and charge you more. So it's yet to be seen, Trent. We'll see when they come out with them what the quality's like, right? Nick Tuttle, very good question. What is your favorite plastic to use? Before I answer that question, let me say this. There are a lot of good crappie plastics on the market, okay? Each one has its place. Each one catches fish. I had someone ask me what's the best crappie bait, okay? I don't believe there is one. All right. You guys know I'm a bonehead tackle guy. I love bonehead tackle. I religiously fish with bonehead tackle. I love it. Absolutely love it. Is it the only bait that'll catch fish? No, it's not. Now, if you ask my partner, sometimes it's the only bait that will catch fish. He makes it a point when I start catching fish on a stump bug, he makes it a point to throw everything but the kitchen sink just to see if he can catch something on another jig. And sometimes he does. Okay. Sometimes he doesn't. He's like, all right, give me one of those. I'm over it. And I'm like, okay, not throw him a jig. And it's a kind of a running joke in the boat a lot of times when we're fun fishing or pre-fishing or something. I got to find something besides that bait. I got to find something besides that bait. And he's like, all right, give me one. Okay. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he says, you want one of these? And I say, nope, I'm sticking with my guns. Thanks. And then sometimes it's okay. It's tournament day. Give me that thing that you had. But nonetheless, there are a lot of baits out there, and I would be lying to you guys if I told you that bonehead baits are the only thing that'll catch fish. They're not. Now, let me tell you why I like them, okay? And let me answer Nick's question, all right? So, Nick, I prefer bonehead tackle stump bugs. I like the stump bug. I've went through it many, many times why I like the stump bug. I can turn that stump bug into I can have 3 different profile baits in one stump bug, okay? So with that stump bug right there, I can take these 2 legs and pull them off and have just that center body with a beaver tail. I can take this beaver tail right here and I can cut it out, and I can just have, the 2 exterior legs like this, okay? Or I can fish it straight out of the pack like that right there, okay? So I have 3 different profiles in that one bait, and the reason I like bonehead tackle baits so well is because the body of these baits, you can see how flimsy the tails are. You can see them moving around. I mean, I don't have to sit there and jiggle them. Now, if I jiggle them, they're going to move around a lot, but just me trying to hold my hand still, those baits will still move. Okay. I mean, they're the tails are made out of a great material, and the body is where the money's at. Okay. That body right there is firm enough that when you run a jig down through it, it will not tear. For those that watched my live on Sunday, the live tournament, I caught probably 25 fish in one spot. My second spot I stopped at with you guys on the live, I caught 20 or 25 fish and never changed jigs because it never tore my jig. The bodies on these are very durable. Baits are very durable, and you can just continue to catch fish on them. Now, they're going to eventually tear, okay? Those fish eat on them enough, they're going to eventually tear, but it takes a lot. So for those reasons, I like a bonehead tackle bait, but that's my personal opinion, my personal choice. Rusty, yes, they have online sales. If you go to it's crappiecove.com, www.crappiecove.com, or you can Google Crappie Cove in Maryville, Tennessee. Their website will come up. You can order online through Crappie Cove. Okay, guys? Jimmy says, I went out with a guy and experienced LiveScope and went and spent my son's inheritance. Yeah. That guy he went out with was me, guys. I spent your son's inheritance. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry. Tell your son that I apologize. I didn't mean to help you spend his inheritance. Sorry, buddy. Oh, that's funny. And Blake Hawk, Jimmy, me too. Can't go without it now. Again, Blake Hawk went out with me, and I spent his money too. Glad I could help you guys drop a few coins. That's funny. Uncle Bill says he has a LiveScope guided trip planned. Yeah, guys, if you're looking for a guided trip to experience LiveScope, I offer guided trips. www.wiredforcrappie.com. You can look at my rates and everything. Click on guided trips. You can look at my rates there. I do have my guide's license and all my credentials for guiding in Tennessee, and I do run guided trips. I do work a full-time job. I guide on the weekends, and I have very limited availability to guide. So if you're looking for a trip, you can get on there. Obviously, I'm a tournament fisherman, and I'm a YouTuber. I'm YouTubing every weekend, and I have a family and 2 kids. So I have limited availability, but you can get on there. You can look at my calendar. You can schedule dates. You can pay everything on the website. And you can go on a trip with me, and we'll go catch some fish on LiveScope. We'll go do it right, and it'll be a fun day on the water. So a lot of guys that are on here tonight have been with me before, and you can ask. They can comment or whatever if they'd like to. It's a very enjoyable trip, and we do catch a lot of fish. I have a fish guarantee, so if we don't catch anything, you don't pay me. But yeah, anyway, you can check that out. Again, it's www.wiredforcrappie.com. Okay, guys? Let's see. All right, so I got off track a little bit. Let's talk about Sunday. So Sunday on the live. Did you guys watch the live? Did anybody watch the live? I know I went back and watched the live. Man, cell phone service down there is horrible. I have yet to do a live on my cell phone that I'm happy with, to be honest with you. It's just it skips. It's just choppy. I'm just not happy with it at all. I'm probably going to call my cellular provider and see if I can't maybe up my data something, or it's my speed or something. I don't know what it is. I do know that I did not have very good service. I only had 1 bar of service the entire day, which is probably why I did that. But I don't know. I'll talk to them and see if there's something I can do to enhance that connection. So to say I'm sorry would be an understatement. I wish it was better for you guys, but I think it was pretty good. There were spots in it that were good. There were spots in it that were bad. You guys lost me once or twice. I think it was only once, but still, nonetheless, it was a little choppy here and there. A lot of times you could hear me, but the video would freeze. You could hear me talking, but yeah, anyway, we're going to keep working on it. We're going to get it right eventually, I hope. So, but it was a very good event, very good time. Caught a ton of fish. I probably caught, 60, 80 fish the whole day. Just caught a lot of fish. Now let's talk about LiveScope, and let's talk about the way we were fishing Sunday. So you guys could see the way I fished Sunday mostly was docks. I fished docks mostly all day, except for the last probably 2 hours, maybe. Probably the last 2.5 hours. I went to stumps and brush because I just never found any big fish on docks, and I needed about 3 kickers, and I couldn't get them off docks. I tried and just couldn't get them. So I went to brush, caught 1 kicker that helped, and needed 2 more and never got them. I culled a couple more after that, but towards the end of the day, I culled a couple, but they were small culls. I mean, I'm talking 1/10 of a pound culls. I needed that pound cull. If I could have got 2 more fish where I could have gotten, a 3/4 pound to a pound cull, then, we could have really made a run at it and maybe probably won the tournament, but just needed those couple bites and just never could find them. as far as big fish. Now, I found plenty of bites. There wasn't no doubt about that. Plenty of bites. But it's not about who catches the most. It's about who catches the biggest. And just didn't do it Sunday. Had a good day again. Caught a lot of fish. Caught them mostly on a again on the moonglow stump bug. Did fish with the pumpkin and chartreuse a little bit, which I know you guys are mad at me about because you can't get them. But right now, can't get them. But most of them came on the moonglow, and that seemed to be the best color. Caught a few on black and chartreuse. Caught one on blue and chartreuse. Moved around a little bit as far as in the color spectrum to try to really locate something that they really wanted, but that moonglow is just, it was consistent all day. They just kept hitting it, so stuck with it. No minnows in the boat Sunday. I knew I wouldn't need them. I knew I'd be able to catch fish without them. Got off to an early start. The tournament started at 7:10. I didn't go live till 8:30, but the tournament started at 7:10, and by 7:30, I had 7 keepers in the boat and was culling. I had 7 in the boat probably by 7:25. I mean, it wasn't 15 minutes. I had 7 in the boat and probably culled a few between 7:25 and 7:30, and then culled another 4 or 6 times between 7:30 and 8:30 when I got you guys on live. So got off to a very early start. Had 7 fish in the boat really quick, and just called up from there. I went to a spot that I knew I could get 7 fish off of quickly. I knew they weren't going to be the biggest. I knew it going there. I knew it wasn't going to be the biggest fish in the lake, but I knew I could get 7. So that's where I went first, got my 7, and then worked my way up. You always take a breath, okay, when you get that 7 fish in the boat and you say, got them in there. You know, I'm at least got a chance. Yes, buddy, I'm almost done. So when you get 7 in the boat, you always take a deep breath, right? And just started culling, just never got what I need. I told everybody when I first got on the live that I felt 8 pounds was where we need to be, between 8 and 8.5. If we would have got there, if we would have got to 8, we would have won the tournament. We just never got there. And that's it. That's tournament fishing. So very fun day. Can't wait for the next one. Next tournament's going to be on Fort Loudon, East Tennessee Crappie Club's on Fort Loudon, the second Saturday of December, which I believe is the 12th of December. So it's going to be a good tournament. There's going to be a lot of big bags brought in that tournament. That's for sure. So it's going to be a good one. How much does adding structure for the crappie helps us sustain them? You know, adding structure for crappie, it does help, okay? But again, with LiveScope, structure can be picked apart in a minute. And I mean, as soon as you shine that LiveScope on it, can be picked apart. I think what would help sustain crappie more so than that would be structures that maybe aren't as easily fished. Very thick structures like Christmas trees, for instance, and a bunch of them, or structures they can get underneath and hide. You know, there again, we're fishermen. Why do we want to put something in that, you know, you can't fish, you can't get crappie out of? That's ridiculous. But to help sustain the resource, then, you know, yeah, that's probably something that they'll need if and when every angler on the lake gets LiveScope, it's going to get real. So, we'll see. We'll see where it goes, but it'll be fun. Steven, he says, oh man, I'm late. That's all right, Steven. No worries. I'm glad you're here, buddy. Dustin says, dad life is real life. Ain't no doubt about that. I like that photo. What is that? Is that like a Shrek? What is that? Some kind of little Shrek looking dude? That's pretty funny. Dad life is real life. There's no doubt about that, Dustin, for sure. It really is. And it's real humbling and very trying at times too. It's very fulfilling, but very trying. Let's say that. Slab Buster. I hope Garmin gets cheaper after Bird and Lawrence catches up. If they catch up, they will. If they continue to try and release things and don't, Garmin's just going to be like, we'll sit back, we'll take our money, and we'll just keep sucking this up till you guys can figure it out. I mean, do you blame them? I mean, every one of you guys would do the same thing. So, Robert, have a ton invested in Garmin will be hard to upgrade to a Bird. Yeah, I won't upgrade. I mean, well, I said that about Garmin too. I said I'd never buy a Garmin until I used one. So I'm not going to say never. Never is not good. Generally, when I say never, it happens. So I'm not going to say never on this one. Andy, here's a question. Hey, Matt, if you graph an area, especially docks, and don't see anything, do you trust your unit and move on or give it a chance and stay for a few minutes? If I graph an area and don't see anything on my side imaging, I typically will take a look at it with my LiveScope just to ensure that I didn't see something. So let's say I pull in an area and I see a dock, okay? There's times on docks that you won't see fish on side imaging when it's very shallow or when the fish are sitting right underneath the floats. Okay. So if you're looking at a dock in 15 foot of water and those fish are 2 foot, 3 foot deep, a lot of times they will not show up on your side imaging and you'll miss them. So sometimes if it's an area that I know I've caught fish at before and I know there generally is fish frequenting a creek and I don't see anything, it doesn't mean I'll necessarily just up and leave. It means, I may look around a little bit with LiveScope, but I won't waste a ton of time. Andy, I won't stay there and I won't fish unless I see fish. Does that make sense? If I don't see fish, I'm not going to waste time trying to materialize fish. I generally will move if I don't see them, but I will give them a look with LiveScope before I leave. So if I go down the bank and there's 6 docks there and 3 of them are pretty good producers of fish and I don't see anything, I may roll over to the one that I normally catch the most on and just shine a LiveScope under it, see if they're setting up shallow. If not, I'll be out. Okay. Silent Night, can you catch crappie in the winter with drop shot? Yes, you can. Drop shot in a minnow or drop shot in a jig. You can catch crappie in the winter. Yes. Andy Perry, hang on a minute. Is this the same question or a different question? Same question. Yeah. Same question, but added mainly side imaging graph. So, Andy, yeah, if I don't see them on my side imaging, I'm not staying. If I don't have a LiveScope to look with, no, I'm not staying. I mean, I'm going to go find fish that I see and that I know are there. So. Foster Peaks. At which time do crappie move to back of creeks or to the mouth of creeks where it meets the river, or is more about ledges? Crappie move to the back of creeks or to the mouth of creeks where it meets the river. You're gonna be able to find fish in the mouth of creeks just about year round, Foster. Crappie will frequent the mouth of creek or creek mouths, year round. Moving to the back of creeks, generally spring and fall. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The fall pattern is just kind of backwards of the spring pattern as far as how fish move in and move out in spring and fall. So in the back of creeks, spring and fall. Just think of it this way. They spawn 60 to 70 degrees. When they start moving back, you got 70 to 60. Okay. So when the water starts warming up, 60 to 72 is where you're going to spawn. When the water starts cooling off, 70 down to 55 really is when they're going to move back into the creeks. So this is kind of backwards with spawn. Fall is. Jamie Nelson says, that is so cool, the clip tip. Yeah, that's a little tech tip for the night. Uncle Bill, Matt, what are you talking? Matt, are you talking anything deeper than 20 feet of water? Yeah, so generally that's kind of my I guess limit or threshold. If I know that fish came out 20 feet of water plus, he's getting clipped. There are times, especially in the spring's when it's the worst. In the spring or early spring, when those big females are full of eggs, the eggs will flip females over in the live well because they're more buoyant. Their belly's buoyant, and it will flip them over. Those clips will keep them straight up and down the live well. So they will live. Heidi says, Matt, for the Tennessee tournament, is it mandatory that participants release their fish back in the lake after weigh-in? That's a very good question, Heidi. And no, it is not mandatory. There are anglers that release them. There are anglers that take them home and eat them. So we do mandate that all fish come to the scales alive, and we do check fish to make sure they're alive. We ask that you take good care of your fish. We ask that you bring them in good condition and alive, but we do not mandate that they have to go back in the lake. And reason being is because we have a lot of guys that they come out and fish. They don't get to fish a whole lot. They don't fish every weekend like I do. They fish, once or twice a month, and they like to keep their fish and take them home and feed their family. So we don't mandate it, but we certainly do ask that the larger female fish go back. Okay. But no mandates. Marty says, thanks for getting me acquainted with East Tennessee crappie. Do you use minnows and when? I use minnows when my kids go fishing with me, and I use minnows during tournament days when I know it's going to be tough, when the conditions and the pressure set up just right, like last Saturday on Melton Hill. I certainly have minnows in the boat because I knew there was no water moving. I knew that they really weren't going to be set up in feeding or staging areas, ambush areas. They were really just going to kind of be out there lethargic, and you're really going to have to put it kind of on their nose to get them to strike. So it was kind of one of them things where, felt like we needed to have them in the boat anyway, and turned out I'm glad we did. But The only other time I really use them other than tournaments that are going to be tough is when I take my kids fishing, which my 5-year-old's standing at my office door waving at me. And he's waiting on dad to play. He won't go to bed without me. So he generally stays up until I'm off my live, and then he wants to play for 10 minutes, and then he'll crash. But yeah, I generally fish with plastics any other time. Andy, he says, no, the last weekend in January is the week after I head back to school, a week after. I was going to say, because the show's Thursday through Sunday. So, okay. It's Thursday through Sunday that weekend. So, if you can't make it, I hate that. But if you can, we'll be there. Black Rain, very good question. There's probably a comment or two about this question, maybe from some of the founding members that have been with the channel for a while. I don't believe in scent, buddy. I really don't. So I would say no, because I just don't believe in scent. I don't believe crappie smell. Well, let me back up. I don't believe scent changes the way crappie feed. I just don't believe it. I've done videos where I've rubbed all kinds of weird stuff on a jig, a hair jig at that. You've always heard the old saying, don't put sunscreen on when you go fishing, because if you put sunscreen on and touch your jig, you won't catch any fish that day. I lathered a hair jig up in Copper Tone Sport sunblock SPF 50. And I lathered it up multiple times, dropped it down, boom, caught fish. So I'm not a big believer in scent, buddy. I'm really not. Color and profile and contrasting colors to water colors is what I believe in. And again, that's personal preference. But I don't believe scent. And when you're longline trolling, you're getting a reaction bite. I mean, those jigs are moving. Those jigs aren't sitting still. Those fish are hitting that bait purely out of reaction. So no, I don't believe scent's going to help you any. Hang on just a second. And Jamie Nelson, go play. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie, for the super chat. I appreciate it. We're going to go play here in just a minute. I promise. He wants to play Power Rangers, which means he wants to wrestle. We play Power Rangers every night, and he gets to be Red Ranger, and I have to be the monster. I always have to be the monster. I guess it's because I look like a monster. I don't know. So I always have to be the monster, and he always gets to defeat me. I always have to grow big. In case anybody's seen Power Rangers, I get to get defeated, and then I get to grow big, and then I get to get defeated again, and then it's bedtime. So, man, the things I'll miss when he gets older, because I have a 13-year-old as well, and I used to play those things with my 13-year-old when he was that age, and I miss it. There's no doubt. So thank you for the super chat. We're going to go play here in just a minute. Josh Sanders, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Go play. Thanks for everything. You're welcome, Josh. Thank you for the super chat. We are going to go play here in a minute, but I want to scan through here a little bit and just see what else you guys got for me real quick. Let's see. Guys, if I miss your question tonight, I apologize. I'm going to scroll through here. Dr. Jack says, Matt is the real deal on those guide trips. Y'all need to go. Just don't go to Fort Nasty. There ain't no crappie in that lake. Well, he's lying. There is crappie in that lake. And I know that because that's where we went. And we caught, how many we catch that day? 86 or something like that. We caught a bunch of fish that day. It was a lot of fun. We had a good day. So, Blake Hawk, go play Power Rangers, monster. I've done started something now. Thank you, Blake, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Uncle Bill, thank you for the super chat as well. I appreciate you, sir, very much. We are going to go play. I promise. We're going to go play. Thank you, Uncle Bill. Thank you, Blake. God bless y'all. I appreciate it. It's a blessing to me, and I appreciate you very much. Let's see. We're going to go play. I promise. I promise. Don't shoot me down now. What is it they always say? Don't shoot me down when I'm preaching good. There you go. Let's see. Yeah, there's some talk about Chris. Chris got in an accident. He's okay, but Sarge is hurting right now. He's got some bruises and some bumps. Say a prayer for him. Hope he gets feeling better soon. Let's see. I thought you had it one for sure, Matt. Where's the big fish on that lake? The big fish on Chickamauga just hadn't shown up this year. They're just not really there. I don't know. That everyone has struggled with that lake over the last 4 or 5 months. I mean, there's a lot of fish there, a lot of fish in the lake, but they're not what they were last year. I mean, last year, right now, you should be able to put together a 10-pound bag down there. They're just not there. The big ones just aren't there. So it's probably a missed spawn 4 years ago, and or a somewhat of a missed spawn 4 years ago. There's just not a whole lot of those 14 to 16-inch fish, and that's what you need. So that would be my guess. Larry says, really like the live. You surprised me how far upriver you went. Yeah, so guys, I fished a long way. I mean, I ran a long way. I was trying to get to places that I knew people wouldn't go to, a lot where I could get to fresh fish. And I ran way, way, way up lake and wished I could have went further. There was one spot that I feel like I could have caught some of those bigger fish, but they were running the river so hard, there was no way I could have went up there and fished it because it just would have been I would have had to use a half-ounce jig head just to keep it still and out there in 60,000 CFMs. It just wasn't going to work, so I didn't go up that far. But I ran a lot of lake, and if you watch the live, you know that because there was people like, "Where's he going? Where's he going? He going to Watts Bar? I mean, is he going to Norris? Where's he going?" It was a lot of running, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Larry McBride's making Thanksgiving pies. Send one my way. Pecan would be great, or apple. Well, either one. I'll eat them all. That don't matter. I'll eat apple. I'll eat cherry. I'll eat peach. Pecan. Nah, I will say I won't eat pumpkin. Pumpkin's not my thing. I'm not a pumpkin eater. I don't like pumpkin. So, anyway. Ashley Coffee, no, it doesn't matter on the terminals. Doesn't matter. Whatever you want to run, as long as you can get power through it. Heidi said, Matt, go play with your son. We understand. I swear I'm going. I swear. You guys are pressuring me, but I want to get to some of y'all's questions. Let's see. Andy Perry says good night. Have a happy Thanksgiving to everyone. DK. Did y'all see DK on the live? DK showed up at the weigh-in. DK was on the live. Mr. Drum King. Location, presentation, confidence. That's right, buddy. That's the keys to success right there. Location, presentation, and confidence. That's words of wisdom coming from DK. Hey, here's a good one from the Gremlin himself. Hey, buddy, go play with your homies. You don't stop playing because you get old. You get old because you stop playing. That's it right there, guys. That's the quote of the night right there. Thank you for that, Dustin. I appreciate it very much, buddy. That's exactly right. You don't stop playing because you get old. You get old because you stop playing. I like that very much. Now, we're going to use that as a sign off. All right, guys. Don't stop playing. Never get old. You're only as old as you feel. I appreciate everybody for watching. I appreciate y'all for being a part of the channel and what we're doing at Wired for Crappie. And I love each and every one of you. I appreciate y'all so much that you have no idea. I love doing this for you guys. I love sharing knowledge with you guys. I love it when you guys come back and say, hey, that's cool. I tried this and it worked. And, it was really neat. I caught more fish. That's what we're here for. To help you guys catch more fish. So we're going to go play Power Rangers. I'm going to try to see if I can't be the Red Ranger tonight. He's going to tell me no, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to get my shield, my sword, my little gun out. We're going to do some wrestling, playing. So I hope you guys have a blessed Thanksgiving. Dustin says boom. He dropped the boom on us. But I hope you guys have a blessed Thanksgiving. I hope everybody gets to hang out with family, see family, fills your belly up, eat some for me. And we will see you guys. Let's see. We'll see you guys tomorrow because got Hartwell coming out. First round of Hartwell. It's coming out tomorrow. So don't miss that. It's going to be great. It's a great show. I really liked it. I enjoyed putting it together for you guys. I think it's going to be a good one. So watch that tomorrow, okay? Watch Hartwell, round 1. Then we got round 2 coming next week. So it's going to be good. And I'll see you guys next Wednesday. I appreciate it. Thank you again for the Super Chats tonight. I appreciate you guys. And we will see you later. And as always, guys, God bless.